Yo, it's Captain, and I want to talk about Rise, returning to Rise, and mainly what I want to see in Wilds from Rise. Should we could have worked on that. But no, I went back to I played Rise again today for it's been a while. It's been a while since I played Rise. I kind of beat all the monsters and put it down, and I just been really wanting to get back to Rise. Oh, I had a an itch, and I wanted to play Monster Hunter. So I came back to Rise because there's still things I wanted to do, different weapons I wanted to try and things, partly because of things I want to talk about today. Um, and so I went back and played it and remembered a lot of things I liked, remembered a lot of things I didn't like. But I thought what would be interesting to talk about would be, what are the things that I want to see from Rise in the next Monster Hunter, right? Because everybody's thinking about Wilds and not right. Because like I went back and played Rise today, but really, it's Monster Hunter Wilds waiting room. That's where we all are. Wilds waiting room. When's it coming? I don't want it to come super fast because I want them to release it in a really nice finished state, unlike some of the stuff they've been releasing, including Rise itself. But right, so I don't want them to rush or anything. But I think Rise kind of gets like a short end of a stick for various reasons and for various good reasons. But there are some really nice things in there that I think I want to keep around. There's some things I really like about Rise. There's some things that I like about it more than World. Like in a lot of ways it moved forward, and then in some ways it moved back. And I actually did a little prep. I hardly ever do prep. Well, I do a little prep sometimes. I don't like doing prep. I did a little prep and I kind of like wrote down the stuff that I wanted to see come back, the things I liked, things I didn't like. And I mean, I could make a whole video on, because I kind of made this whole section of things I didn't like. And I was like, man, I could make a whole video on just stuff I didn't like in Rise. But I don't know how useful that is. I mean, it's useful somewhat, but as far as like wanting to make a video about it is, do I really just want to sit here and complain about Rise? So I think it's more interesting and more beneficial. What's the good parts? What do I want them to keep? All right, Captain, you've preambled for too long. Give me the details. Give me the stuff. Oh, I just thought of one I didn't write down. Should I write it down, or do you think I'll forget about it, or do you think I'll remember it? I'll write it down. I will type it live, because otherwise I will forget. All right. So what did I write down? I think the first thing I want to talk about is the switch skills. I really like switch skills, and not just just because you can mean a lot of things by switch skills. I like that you can customize the weapon to fit a playstyle, and that you don't need a million playstyles, but just a little bit. I think each weapon had like 3, and then in Sunbreak I think they added a couple more, or something like that. Maybe it's like 3 plus the soak binds, and I would not include soak binds in this positive list, which are the wire bug weapon skills. But just switch skills where you can customize it, because one of the things that made me want to return to Rise, when everybody else is returning to World, is there's weapons I didn't try, and there's weapons I didn't try that I don't usually like or don't have an interest in, but because of the switch skills, I do. Like today, I came back and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try Greatsword. And I don't try Greatsword because I am not good enough to try Greatsword. Greatsword is for good hunters who can hit the things they're aiming at, who know where the monster's going to be so they can land their charge attacks. Captain is not one of those hunters. I will miss everything. I will whiff the easiest attacks. If the monster is somewhere, my attack is somewhere else, right? Like that's just how it works. The bigger the monster, the farther my attack away is. Is away. I'm a little tired. A little tired. Sentences are a little bit on me, right? Like that's me. So I'll play hammer, because I like charging up big hits, but you can move while you charge the hammer. It's, you know what I mean? You don't have to have perfect aim all the time. If you're charging it and the monster moves a little bit to the left, you're like, oh, okay, let's walk over there. You can't do that on Greatsword. It's over. But I knew Greatsword in Rise, because of switch skills, had a combo oriented playstyle as an option. So instead of just like charging every single one of your attacks and you either land it and you get big damage, or you whiff and you're doing nothing, which is what I would do 90% of the time, you can do a combo move, which is like a lot of the other weapons, and they're much quicker. You know, your damage is going to be spread out over the combo, so you still have the mastery of trying to land the whole combo, but it's not all or nothing. Like if you get 2 hits of the combo and then it's over, you still got your 2 hits. Whereas if you misplaced, if you mispositioned yourself, so the monster was, you were going to hit the monster for the first 2 charges, but not the third, well, you're still going to whiff because the monster moves, the third goes off, then you release, and there's no monster, right? So that encouraged me to play a weapon that I would not play, or at least not play until I felt like I was really, really good at what I was doing. And it was a lot of fun. It was actually really cool, and I could see the downsides of it. Like, you had to be engaged on the monster the whole time to get the full combo off, and then to get a charge afterwards, because it still lets you do a charge. It's just after the combo. Whereas if you were really skilled at the monster or the weapon, you could just, well, I don't want to do this whole combo to get to the good stuff. I know where he's going to be. I'll just stand there and do my charge. So it did have a downside. It wasn't just positives. But just the idea, because we're like, they're probably not going to add new weapons, right? Because they don't want to add weapons and then, you know, potentially take them away. And they've got enough weapons that they feel like it's enough for them to manage. So every time they add one, they're like, well, now we got more than we can manage, right? So they're probably not going to add weapons, but talk about a way to keep the same amount of weapons but give you more playstyles, right? That's at least 2. You've turned one weapon into 2 because you've got charge and you've got combo. That's a really big difference. That's a big enough difference to feel almost like you got a whole new weapon, and then it's like you've doubled your weapons just with that. So even just like a set of switch skills that gives you one other option, you've doubled the playstyles available to, which is pretty cool. So I love that. I think that's great. Even weapons that I love how they work, and maybe I just want to tweak something, maybe I just want a different opener. I just really love the customization of movesets that the switch skills can give you. I think that's fantastic. I would love that system return. I would not want it to like be so tedious and annoying to unlock, but that's kind of one of the things that that's one of my negatives of Rise. It just has all this weird tedium and stuff hidden behind things. Because there's like, I have beaten every monster in the game. I've done everything, almost everything. I have not like 300 all the anomalies or some shit like that. But I still don't have switch skills unlocked for even some of the weapons that I have used the entire time, because there's like really random specific things you got to do, and I have no idea what they are unless I like look them up somewhere. It's so weird. But yeah, so switch skills I love. But I tell you what, because I have like a negative on each of these. I didn't think I'd talk about this long, but as you may know if you've watched my videos, once I start talking, we keep talking. My negatives to this, well, I don't really like switch skill swap, but I kind of do like it, because what if you got 2 sets of switch skills and you want to use them for different situations? I think that's cool. However, I think what it's kind of done is just, it's highlighted another problem, which is the stupid buff skills that no one wants and no one likes and don't actually do anything for your playstyle. You just use it, it turns it on, and it does a thing, and now you're just like required to do it. However, that might be a Silkbind problem, right? Where you just gotta like do your Silkbind, switch skill off that because it's useless while the buff's up, right? So I think I don't know. Maybe I wrote this. Maybe I shouldn't have wrote this as a negative. Maybe that is just a Soakbind negative. So this switch skill swap, I think, just enables you to do, like, if you wanted to do combo greatsword and then switch over to regular charge greatsword, I think that's actually pretty cool. Yeah, all right. I think my problem is the Soakbinds, not the switch skill swap. Well, Captain, way to pad the video. I just whatever. Let's talk about Soakbinds. Let's talk about the wire bug. Let's move on to point 2 for Captain embarrasses himself further. Let's move on to point 2. The wire bugs. I actually really like wire bugs, and I would like them to return. However, in a very specific format, I like the wire bugs for movement and travel. I do not like Silkbinds at all, and I'm 50-50 on Wirefall. I think Wirefall, particularly towards the end of the game, was used well. It was like a resource you had to manage. You couldn't wirefall out of everything because there was a lot of tax that would punish you for wirefalling. So it became a skill. It's like, when can I use wirefall? When should I use wirefall? And where should I wirefall to? Should I wirefall in and use it aggressively? Should I wirefall back and try to get more defense? I think there was a lot there, and so I like wirefall, but if they feel like it was just too powerful and they can't make the monsters, because one of the issues with Rise is that the hunter had too much strength, too many options, and so they had to make the monsters crazy. The monsters are all like moving at lightning speed and going nuts and just launching crazy attacks at you at that wombo combo and it's insane. They got it too hard. They got it too hard in the wrong way. It's not like, because you do want it to be hard, especially as you get to the end game, but not because it's like overwhelm, because there's just nothing else the monsters can do to deal with hunters zipping around and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So I don't know how they could keep the wire bug for world traversal, because I think the level design was really fun with the ability to climb sort of with the wire bugs and fly around with the wire bugs. I think that led to really interesting maps, although they kind of cut that down with like the hunters and the hunting helpers and the spear burbs instead of just fun crafting materials. Like, I kind of enjoyed exploring the maps in World more than Rise. But as far as traversing the maps, I think the wire bug is fantastic. It's just, I don't really want to see it like in combat where people are flipping around. I don't know how you would separate those two. Like, would you just turn it off when you're in combat? That would kind of suck. You know what I mean? It is fun if you're on the other end of the arena to use your movement skills to get over to the fight. You know what I mean? Like that. That's a good thing. I wouldn't want that to go away. It's like, oh, the monster's seen you. You now can't move properly. That'd be annoying. But yeah. And Silkbinds, I hate Silkbinds. Personally, I really don't like moves that aren't part of the combo set. I didn't like it in Generations, where you just like tapped a button on the 3DS. You tap the touchscreen on the 3DS to use your super move. I don't like these things. Maybe, you know what? Maybe it's a me thing, but this is my list. I just don't like things that aren't part of the moveset. And particularly, I feel like it's degenerate play that the Silkbinds have encouraged, because people just get the skill where they get the wire bugs to regenerate really fast, and then they just, it's like you watch speedrunners and they just spam Silkbind move, right? Because they're good enough that they'll never miss it and they know exactly how to do it. And it's just, right, that can't be the pinnacle of the game. And I know speedrunners are going to do crazy things, so it's, you know what I mean? You can't design a game just because the speedrunners are doing something. That I think is not wise. But when it becomes like, all right, what's my best combo? Oh, just spam Silkbind. What do you mean? No, that's your most damaging combo. Just spam the Silkbind and make sure you have the third wire bug and make sure you have wire bug whisperer so you can just spam it more. And I'm like, well, that's not fun. So, right, combine that with me just not liking a move that's not in a combo system whatsoever. It's just some button you hit and the move goes off. It's like I'm playing an MMO. It's like I'm not into that. I like combos. Mana is a combo game. Let me work into the big moves, you know, with the button presses. So I like wire bugs. I don't like silk mines. If that makes sense. Travel wire bugs, great. Combat wire bugs, not so great. All right. Speaking of travel, we're clapping now. I don't look. That's where we are. Speaking of travel, I really like the Palamutes. I like the mounted Palamutes. I like having a mount. I like running around. It's weird because you can't do the wirebug traversal while you're doing a Palamute mount, but I really like both of these things. You know, when I am climbing up a cliff and stuff, I'm using the wirebugs. I'm jumping around when I'm doing the tricky platforming, I'm using the wirebugs. But when I just need to get from one end of the map to the other, yo, just hop on the dog and yeehaw, there we go. That's really fun. Like if I'm behind in the teammates, you know, in the team hunt and everybody's on the monster and I'm like back at camp, I'm like, whoa, I can get on the dog and get there really quick. I think that's fantastic. I would not want to play the game without that after now having it. Very similar to the wirebug traversal. I'm gonna miss it if it's not there. I'm just gonna miss it. But also similar to the wirebug traversal, I'm not really keen on them. Like, I'm not really keen on your mount being like your combat partner, because right now I feel like I have to take a Palamute as my pal because I want the mount. But I don't necessarily not want like my cats. I just want the mount. And I also like having the Palamute as a pal. I just wish that it was like separate. I wish that I always had the mount, and then I had options on what is my combat pal. You know, so even if I took 2 cats, I would still have the Palamute mount. Right? Or, you know, I mean, I guess it makes sense if you want 2 Palamutes that you just ride one. But I don't know. We know in Wilds they're going to keep a mount, so I'm excited about that. But I kind of hope they just keep it a mount and don't worry about the combat stuff. Like, just don't, because I don't want it to affect the balance of combat. Right? I just want to have the mount because it's fun and convenient. And I don't want them to worry about having to balance fights around it. So to me, it's like, well, just have them separate. Have a mount and then have your pals. Even if, you know, maybe there's like, if you do Palamutes or something, you know, you could have just like a nice little bonus where it's like, well, if you do pick your Palamute, you can just ride him. You ride your pal. But if you didn't, right, you just have him as a mount, right? And it just sits over there or something. So there's that. There's the traversals. So there's a lot of like, I like a lot of the things. You can see there's kind of like a little theme here where I like a lot of the things they did, but I don't want them to like have to balance the combat around it because then it becomes too much. So I don't know, maybe just like a little bit more separation of the traversal with the combat. All right, this is getting wild, but I'm kind of few my bigger ones. I wrote the list in order. You know what? Let me do that bonus one that I wrote down that I already forgot about. I wrote combat. I wrote combat because it was just supposed to, that was my door. It was just supposed to remind me that I really liked the smoothness of the weapons. I enjoyed moving from World to Rise because all the weapons felt very smooth and fluid and there wasn't any clunkiness. That doesn't mean I want them all to be fast, but I just love the smoothness. Like the combos make sense and they flow well and it feels good. And I think every weapon I've tried has felt smoother, even if I don't necessarily like what they did with the weapon. Like I don't really like Rise's switch axe versus World switch axe, but it works so much smoother. I enjoy the smoothness. I just don't like the direction they chose because it's mainly just spam switch skill. That's like your best combo. You just hit special 15 times and switch between sword and axe. And I'm like, spamming one button is not a good combo. But as far as if you say screw the good combo and you just try to use it like you would in World or something, it feels a lot smoother. And I think every weapon does that in Rise. All the weapons feel really smooth and nice to use. And I hope that continues. Right? It doesn't feel clunky at all. It still has a lot of weight. It still has a lot of a lot of that deliberate kind of attack, that fighting game feel where you're like committed to these animations. It still has a lot of animation commitment, has all that great stuff, but it just feels smooth and responsive. So I hope that sticks around. I love that. I hope they improve that. I hope things are even better. I hope they get rid of bugs on Insect Glaive because no one likes them and they're annoying. Nobody likes managing buffs. Capcom, no one likes that. Dude, somebody's like, how dare you, Captain? I love managing buffs. You know what? I'm glad. I hope it's a Switch skill. I hope you can just turn off the bugs and not have to just have like a lesser buff that you don't have to manage. Because I love Insect Glaive, but every time my buff wears off, I feel like I'm not playing Insect Glaive anymore. I'm playing Get the Buff Bag Simulator, and I just want to die. I've played other weapons. I don't remember my other weapons just randomly dying after 90 seconds, and I have to play a little mini game to get them back to working. So I just hope they keep smoothing out the weapons and making them nice. There you go. That's the bonus one I wrote down. All right, what are these? These are slightly less important, I think, at this point. I really want deco crafting to stick around because I like deco crafting, but I tell you what, I hate deco crafting because I hate menus and I hate the crafting and I hate having to try to find materials from somewhere from some random low rank monster that I didn't fight enough times because I'm too busy fighting the cool master rank monsters. I don't want to deal with that. So what I would really like, as much as I want deco crafting to stay, because I remember playing World and not getting the bow gems that you need, I also want random decorations. I think there's room for both. Because in World, I hated not having the deco that I needed and there was no way for me to get it. I just had to cross my fingers and that sucked. But in Rise, I barely have any decos because it's annoying to craft them and they always need some item I don't have, and I'm just like trying to make this other build, and I'm going to need to farm for a piece of gear, I'm going to need to farm for a weapon, and then I just want to stick the deco in it, and it's like, oh, now I got to farm for a deco, and it's like, it's too much. It's too much. It's like, I wish I could just build these up through playing. So I think there's room for both. I think, I don't know, some system where you're just getting passively some decos that you can use, and then a system where you can craft ones you're missing. I think that would be perfect. All right. Oh, actually, you know what? These are pretty good. Okay, I've got a few more written down. Probably just one more relevant, to be honest. People are like, oh, I'm listening. Why am I still listening to this video? Because you like it here. All right. I actually hope they keep the named NPCs and follower system, because now technically you don't need the named NPCs to have fun characters. I thought World's characters were great and none of them were named. Well, they were technically all named, but just not with names. It was just like the huntsman. Right? So as long as they keep some decent character building, I know it's a light kind of story, but just some investment in the characters, so I feel like I know that character and they were cool and they were part of the story. That's great. And I think like the named characters, where we name one Hinoa and we name one Minoto, right? Where we just I think it signified for them that we are going to put a little more depth into them, because these are real characters and not just placeholders, like position holders, maybe a better way to think of that. And I think that was fun. I think it worked a lot better in Kimura. I think Elgato was cool, and the characters were still cool, but the way they were presented, there were just so many repeat dialogues. How many times did we get that scene where you're standing there with the Chadmiral, and why have I forgotten everyone's name? I've forgotten everyone's name. Is it Fiona? Is it Fiora? Oh my god. Look, I haven't played in months, dude. But you know this scene. And then, was it Bahari? standing there and they're like, oh, Curio something, oh, there's a new monster, and it's the same like dialogue with the same jokes. It takes like 5 minutes to get through, and then it replays every time there's a new like master rank monster that appears, and you're just like, I've seen this 15 times. Why are you making me watch it when you didn't even make them say anything different? You just replaced the nouns. It's terrible. But as far as the characters themselves, I think they're interesting. I would like, as far as Komura went, I felt you got like a lot more difference with them. It was fun to talk to NPCs in between the things, so I felt like it worked better in Komura. But yeah, I want to see the interesting characters. I want to feel attached to them because I do like characters. I'm interested in characters and stories personally. And I think what makes it really fun then is then you can take them into battle with you as the follower system. So maybe my plus that I want to carry over is just the follower system, right? And in order to have a good follower system, you kind of need, you want, it benefits from having good characters, which then benefits from having them named and giving them good spots in the story where you can feel like you get to know the characters and get attached to them, and then it's really fun to bring them on the quest with you. I think that's really cool. I think it's a great option for solo play or just times where you well, I guess that would all be solo play. I was gonna give you a bunch of examples of why you would want solo play, but I mean, I think, you know, you don't want, maybe you play multiplayer but your friends are offline. Maybe you just want to chill. Maybe something's just too hard, but you never play online anyways. You know, just anytime you're doing solo play, it's just kind of nice. It feels like other people are there. It feels fun. It's fun to hear them do quips. I would like more voice lines instead of just text lines, but it's really cool. Speaking of voice lines, there's a bonus one. I really want the voice lines to come back. I love hearing my hunters say stupid shit. I just love it. I love all the other hunters saying stupid shit. I love stupid shit statements. And of course, you know, I think there's an option to turn it down. So hopefully that option would return as well. So I mean, like, but getting the followers, you get more call outs. I love that stuff. I think it's really fun. All right, what else to write down? I thought of something, but I think I already forgot about it. I think I wrote training room down. Does that one really count? I think the training room in Rise was really good. I think World was the first kind of real training room instead of a training monster. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But Rise really expanded it to make it a really good training room. You get all sorts of options you can do with the Toadversary. It's not Toadiversary. It's not an anniversary of a toad. It's an adversary. It's a toad. It's a Toadversary. Okay, never mind. But I think he's really cool, and you've got all those options to do. I think that's great. So that's really awesome. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. If we're gonna have followers and NPCs and stuff, I would kind of like a reduction of things on the screen, because when you got a full hunt with 4 people, they each get to bring their pal, which I think is cool. But now all of a sudden I've got 8 things on the screen. That's really kind of hard to focus on, and the monster is going nuts. And the monster and Rise are very fast, so now they're going nuts very quickly, and it becomes very erratic very, very fast. So I do like keeping your pal, and I do like having followers, but I don't know, maybe find a way where it doesn't go too nuts. That's what I wanted to add to the other one. But honestly, everything else, I feel like that's been a long enough video, to be honest. And I have more stuff written down, but it's all just the negative stuff that I don't like. And I don't know. I feel like maybe I'll make that video at some point, but I feel like people have talked about the stuff that's wrong with Rise enough, and I don't want to sit here and just be like, here's stuff that I hate and here's why, because I mean, I have good reasons for it and it's good feedback, but I don't know, I'm not in the mood for that at the moment. So that's my list. I will go through them quickly one more time. I should have opened the video going through them, because that would have been nice for presentation. But here we are. Captain's just not good at YouTube videos, and he's making them anyway. It's like, he's unstoppable. We can't. Somebody stop him. He's out there making bad videos. Shoot, dude. All right, so official long list, if you stuck with me this long. Things that I want to see in Wilds and future Monhuns from Rise because I liked them. Okay. Switch skills. Love them. Wire bugs for travel. Love them. Mounts for travel. Love them. Oh, I didn't even read this one. I forgot one. All right, look. Cool skills. There's just a lot of cool skills in Rise that I think are really fun, and I like them. There you go. That's the quick version. Cool skills. Decoration crafting. Named NPCs and using them as followers. The follower system. The cool training room. And the smooth combat. That was not the order we read them in, and I even added a bonus one. Because I didn't read my list properly. But that is the list. I don't know, what is that, like 10 or something? 3, 4, 5, 6... It's like 8. It's like 8-ish. And whatever the other one I added in there. The voice callouts. Those are things I really like about Rise. I could probably think of more if I sat down. But, you know, video's already long enough. There was so many things that I really loved about Rise. Really loved about Rise. And I was really glad to come back to it. There's things that drive me nuts in that game. But there's things I really like. There's things that I was really glad to see after World. And I would be sad to see if they left after Rise. So that's what I wanted to talk about. That's what I wanted to share with you. Give you something to think about, something to listen to, something to tune out of while you do your dishes. I don't know. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know what you think's the best, or the worst, or whatever. But focus on the best. What's the cool stuff from Rise that you wanna see in Monster and Wilds? Or just be hype about Wilds. I don't know. Whatever you want to type. But that's it. That's it. I'll look forward to your comments. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever it is, whatever you're gonna do, and I will catch you in the next one. I'm moving the mouse. There we go. I'll see you around.